Norman's not only a gym leader, but also a real superhero dad that wasn't afraid to tell you that you sucked. How about when he silently sacrificed his career, reputation, and time with his beloved family just to save his son? All odds against him, he stayed strong, tamed Rayquaza, and stepped up to save the world, only to be met with one of the most tragic endings in all of Pokemon. Get ready to learn that tough love is the most sincere type of love in this heart-wrenching deep dive. Norman may be a normal type gym leader, but he really is extraordinary. Norman is the normal type gym leader of Petalburg City in the Hoenn region and treated as a joke. The only dad that didn't run away. The part-time gym leader, but that does him no justice. Norman and his family moved from Olivine to Goldenrod in Johto, then immigrated to Littleroot in Hoenn for a better life and an opportunity to become a gym leader. One small incident caused everything to go downhill, starting with a ban from being a gym leader and a forced dangerous manhunt to clean up a mistake he didn't even make. Norman represents one of the most grounded and paramount ideas in Pokemon and real life, the strength of responsibility. Norman's name is painfully ordinary, and that's the point. Norman comes from Old Germanic roots, meaning Northman, or man from the north, but in context, it reads as intentionally plain, so normal, which is his type expertise. In Japanese, he's Senri, meaning 1,000 leagues, implying endurance and a long journey, the slow grinding path of adulthood. This dual naming reflects Norman's character perfectly, ordinary on the surface, quietly monumental underneath. He's remembered because he feels real. He represents adulthood in a franchise obsessed with youth. Norman is your father, no matter which character you play in Generation 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. After you receive your starter Pokemon, he's the gym leader of the first gym you come across, and he refuses to battle you. Instead, he guides you on the right path by reminding you to subscribe to my channel if you've been enjoying the video so far. We smashed our last goal of 750 subs by December. Let's try and get 900 subs by the end of January. He suggests that you help and tells you to explore and get 4 badges before challenging him. He watches, lets you fail, grow, and return stronger. He's asking a single question: are you ready? And the answer is no, because his gym has a bunch of random doors with random words that should all be changed to one-shots you, because that's exactly what the trainers in his gym do. When you finally challenge him, it feels like a passing of the torch, like you're meant to win. His team in Ruby and Sapphire are Slacking, Vigoroth, and Slacking, but stronger, so beware of his Pokemon in the Slackoth line, I guess. Slacking is going to give you a rude awakening with any move at all, and do not use status moves unless you want Facade to do double damage. To be fair, it's probably going to one-shot you anyway, so status moves aren't a bad shout. In Emerald, he has way more variety. Just watch out for Belly Drum Linoon, and again, that's Slacking, who, by the way, has stats comparable to Groudon, but with higher attack and speed. Ridiculous. But of course, it doesn't come without weakness. Its ability Truant lets it attack only once every 2 turns, so do some switch baits and chip away. You can rematch him like 1 billion times in Emerald, and the final time, he has 2 Slackings, a Blissey, Kangaskhan, Tauros, and Spinder. His 2 Slackings use mixed sets. They're the only threats, unless you're scared of Focus Punch Blissey. His final team is at the Pokemon World Tournament, where he has a pretty fun team. Slacking returns and it's always gonna be a monster, let's be real. But Zangoose is gonna slice you apart with returns and close combats, coupled with a Lychee Berry for good measure. Exploud also has a deadly moveset with heavy hitting moves and insane coverage. It's bound to catch you off guard because everyone thinks it's a physical attacker, but it's got such a diverse special moveset. Just be prepared for the Giga Impact. Ash talks with May about challenging the Petalburg gym, and she feels really awkward but doesn't reveal the gym leader is actually her dad and runs away. Ash walks in the gym and is greeted by Max, who is kind of a fan but also roasting him without knowing and winding him up a bit. Yeah, he definitely knows. And Max pretends to be the gym leader, but Ash doesn't believe him at all. May peeps in the window and later introduces him to Norman, the real gym leader. He ends up having dinner at May's house. In this version, Norman seems calm, settled, and intelligent. He has a chat with Ash about how his gym challenge is a 3-on-3 elimination. Ash only has one Pokemon at this point and refuses to use his others because he wants to use Hoenn Pokemon in Hoenn. Norman suggests a 1-on-1 and they get down to the gym for an unofficial battle. Pikachu hits Vigoroth, but the speed and ferocity of Vigoroth was ultimately too much, and it takes out Pikachu with some strong combinations. Team Rocket ruined the day by stealing May's Torchic and try to escape, but are found 5 minutes later and are quickly disposed of. Norman sends off Ash, May, and Max to Rustboro City for their first challenge. Ash returns to Petalburg after getting 4 badges and catches Norman getting a bit saucy with Nurse Joy and challenges him to a rematch. We later find out that May's mum is furious for an unknown reason, and we also find out that she's been having problems with her husband Norman recently. And not to mention, Norman has been spending a lot of time at the Pokemon Center lately. The crew go to investigate and catch Norman still at the Pokemon Center. Brock tells Norman to apologize to his wife and make things right. But Norman really has no idea what's going on. His wife comes in the Pokemon Center and says she's leaving, but he still hasn't got a clue. It turns out he forgot about their wedding anniversary. They head home to sort things out, but Team Rocket make him lose his temper and they go blasting off again too. Norman lost his temper because Team Rocket destroyed his surprise anniversary gift, a fireworks display for his wife. And he has been speaking to Nurse Joy because she is actually a licensed pyrotechnician, and he wanted her to help prepare the fireworks for his wife. They have a wholesome anniversary night with fireworks shooting out in the shape of beautiflies for everyone to marvel at. And the two lovebirds are on good terms again. The next day, back to business. Ash and Norman rematch. Slakoth is sent out versus Pikachu. This Slakoth seems like it's on the juice, with hidden power, Shadow Ball, and being unaffected by anything Pikachu does. It's dodging Pikachu's attacks and fires off a blizzard. Slakoth does better than Vigoroth in the first battle, so Ash swaps Pikachu out for Torkoal, who one-shots Slakoth with a toasty flamethrower. Vigoroth comes out, then Torkoal gets one-shot by a damn scratch attack. Pikachu faces off versus Vigoroth again, and Pikachu's training closed the gap as it lands some heat. Speaking of heat, Vigoroth surprises them with Flamethrower. Ash orders Pikachu in such a way that Vigoroth hits it with minimal damage to allow static to work and paralyze Vigoroth. Pikachu takes out Vigoroth but follows shortly after. The final battle is Slacking versus Grovyle, and if you've played the games, you know this Slacking is a nightmare to deal with. It blocks Grovyle's Bullet Seed and Leaf Blades with brute strength. As Slacking charges up Focus Punch, Grovyle interrupts it, firing it up and causing it to use Earthquake indoors. Slacking seems to have leveled up and starts ragdolling Grovyle. Grovyle somehow survives a Hyper Beam and goes Super Saiyan with its Overgrow ability. This multiplies its power immensely and turns it into Spider-Man with a one-shotting Leaf Blade ability, and that fat gorilla faceplants the gym floor. He congratulates Ash, gives him the badge, and his son Max starts throwing a tantrum because his dad lost. Max steals the badge and runs away. They tell him to stop being a big fat baby, and he gives the badge back to Ash. In Pokemon Adventures, Norman is portrayed as an intensely serious, old-school battler who strongly disapproves of his son Ruby's obsession with Pokemon contests. To Norman, strength means discipline, endurance, and combat mastery. To Ruby, strength is beauty, expression, and perfection. The result? A textbook generational clash, with Ruby crushed under expectations he never agreed to carry. Despite this, Norman still deeply loves his son. Long ago, he went to visit founded the Pokemon Association, which is the governing body handling legislation, gym leader salaries, and Pokemon League competitions across Hoenn. A random Salamence crashed into the research facility, causing destruction of buildings, injuring scientists, and freeing Rayquaza, who was being studied at the time. Norman noticed that the Salamence was injured in a battle with Ruby. He feared the consequences for his son and falsely confessed to save him. As punishment, he faced a 5-year gym leader ban and was forced to get Rayquaza back. Norman's events in the manga begin post-ban. Norman just became a gym leader and celebrates by finger blasting a bunch of Pokemon, then telling a reporter that his family will arrive from Johto later that day. Shortly after arriving, Norman's son runs away and Norman is furious as he sets off to search for him. Ruby meets Wally and offers to help him with the basics of Pokemon. Wally refuses his offer because he already has someone to help, and that someone is Norman. Ruby hides immediately. Norman tells Wally he's not gonna help him with the basics anymore because he lied about his health condition and doesn't want to be held responsible for any injuries. That annoying reporter finds Norman again and starts yapping. He activates his primal instincts, rips off his shirt, and dives into the water. He steals some surveillance documents from the submarine to help him track Ruby, as well as a Pokeblock for good measure, and speeds off. Completely normal behavior. Ruby ends up at the Weather Institute and finds a familiar Pokeblock, only to turn around and find an enraged Norman behind him. Norman kicks Ruby's ass and he goes flying across the building. Okay, I get that he's mad at Ruby, but he really doesn't have to do Marshtomp like that. They start going at it. Ruby wants to show his dad how determined he is, but it doesn't really work as he's getting ground and pounded like it's no contest at all. Ruby does land a few sneaky hits, but it doesn't do much. The explosivity of the battle causes Ruby to be blown back, hanging on for dear life on the edge of the building, calling his daddy for help. Norman puts himself in danger to save Ruby as they both face jagged shards of broken staircase and split trees. Castform comes out of nowhere, gives them a bit of sun to enjoy before they get impaled and they fall together, but are saved by Ruby's running shoes that were given by Norman as a birthday gift. Norman is still mad, but is interrupted by a call from Winona, who's actually above him, telling him to get his flat ass to the gym, as challengers are complaining that he's never there. He tells Ruby that he can pursue his contest champion dream, but he needs to give it his all, and to call his mum now and again. And Winona takes Norman away on Altaria. So I guess they squashed the beef and are on good terms? Norman is slowly softening up and later flies over to Wally and says, "Come on, it's time for your Pokemon training." Wally is completely in shock but goes along with it. Day 1 of training, take him to Route 1. Oh wait, the Sky Pillar. Jeez, he's a tough cookie. He gives Wally a Flygon after some training. Norman and Wally are going hard in training when he reveals his real reason for training Wally: to get strong enough to awaken Rayquaza to stop the battle between Kyogre and Groudon. Scott calls Norman, says the world is coming to an end, and that Kyogre and Groudon's orbs have chosen new owners, Sapphire and his son, Ruby. Norman panics and rushes with Wally to the Sky Tower summit. He mentions about how he's been trying to retrieve Rayquaza for the last 5 years and the sacrifices he made with his family. They awaken Rayquaza right there and then. Norman forcibly controls Rayquaza at the expense of his own life force and flies to Sootopolis on its head. When he arrives, Rayquaza starts spanking Groudon and Kyogre like a bunch of naughty toddlers during this world-ending battle with everyone around. Ruby wants to fight alongside his dad and hops on Rayquaza, who blasts the crap out of Kyogre and Groudon. Ruby apologizes to Norman, and Norman doesn't respond. The strain of controlling a powerful beast like Rayquaza has caused such severe pain. Norman was completely unconscious, out on his feet. He briefly regains consciousness, and knowing that it's his end, he comes clean with Ruby, telling him what really happened in the past. Ruby's battle with the Salamence caused it to go flying into the research facility, destroying major parts of the building, badly injuring scientists, and freeing Rayquaza. Norman realized this and took the blame to save his son. Team Aqua and Magma swoop in for Ruby while he's weakened, trapping him and incinerate Norman's body with Houndoom. Okay, this was one of the craziest events to ever happen in the manga, and I can barely even process it happening in Pokemon. The real hero reveals itself and realizes things have gotten way too out of hand. It uses the power to take them to an alternate future in which those who perished actually survived, and Groudon and Kyogre were stopped for good. Welcome back, Norman, and most of all, thank you, Time Travel Onion Fairy, Celebi. If you made it this far, then you are a superhero just like Norman. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment detailing your favorite version of Norman. For me, his manga counterpart really takes the cake and makes me understand that even though it may not be clear, everyone has their own hardships. Happy New Year. Bless you all. See you all in the next one.